Imagine you have a question. Not a simple one. A real question. The kind that keeps you up at night, the kind that matters. You type it into the search bar, and what comes back is not an answer. It is a wall. Pages and pages of links. Ads. More ads. Headlines screaming for your attention. And somewhere buried inside all of that noise, maybe, is what you actually needed. Now imagine something different. You type the same question, and this time, it tells you exactly what you need to know. It cites its sources. It asks if you want to go deeper. That is not the future. That is happening right now. The way the world searches for information is changing faster than most people realize. And at the center of that change is a battle between two very different visions of what search should be. On one side, Google, the most powerful information tool ever built. On the other, Perplexity AI, a small but fearless challenger rewriting the rules from the ground up. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what separates them, what each one does better, and why the answer might surprise you. For most of us, searching the internet and using Google are the same thing. Google has been so dominant for so long that we stopped thinking of it as a choice. It just is the internet. 2 trillion searches a year. A verb in every language. A reflex so deeply wired into our daily lives that we barely notice we are doing it. But something is shifting underneath our feet. Artificial intelligence has entered the search conversation in a way that cannot be ignored. And the question people are beginning to ask, quietly at first, now louder, is whether Google's model of search, the one built on 10 blue links and keyword matching, still makes sense in a world where AI can simply answer your question directly. Perplexity AI has stepped into that conversation with a bold claim that search does not have to feel like rummaging through a library where no one is there to help you. It can feel like talking to the smartest, most well-read person you know. In this video, we are going to explore both tools honestly and thoroughly. We will look at how they work, what they are good at, where they fall short, and what they tell us about the future of how human beings find knowledge. To understand where we are going, we have to understand where we have been. Before Google, the internet was chaos. There were search engines, Yahoo, AltaVista, Lycos, but finding reliable information was closer to luck than science. You might search for something and get a page that had simply crammed the same keyword 100 times into invisible text, gaming the system to rise to the top. Then, in 1998, 2 graduate students at Stanford University, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, published a paper that changed everything. Their idea was elegant. Instead of judging a page by its content alone, judge it by how many other pages link to it. The more people pointing to you, the more trustworthy you must be. They called it PageRank. Google was born. Within a few years, it had become the organizing layer of human knowledge on the internet. It indexed billions of pages, ranked them with increasingly sophisticated algorithms, and delivered results in fractions of a second. It was and still is a genuine marvel of engineering. Over the following 2 decades, Google added maps, images, news, shopping, and videos. It became not just a search engine but a portal to virtually everything. It built the most valuable advertising business in history off the back of one simple insight. People tell Google what they want, and advertisers will pay anything to be in front of them at that exact moment. For a very long time, Google was not just the best at search. It was search. Full stop. But the world kept changing. Here is something most people feel but few say out loud. Google search has gotten harder to use. Not because the technology is worse. In many ways, it is more sophisticated than ever. But the experience of using it, the human experience, has drifted far from what it once was. Think about the last time you searched for something on Google. Before you even reached a real result, you likely scrolled past a block of paid advertisements. Then came the featured snippet, a box pulled from some web page, which may or may not be accurate. Then perhaps a set of people also ask questions. Then more ads. Then maybe a map, a knowledge panel, or a set of shopping results. By the time you actually reached the organic search links, the actual pages ranked by relevance, you might have scrolled through an entire screen of other content first. This is not an accident. Google is a business, and its revenue depends on advertising. And so the product that users interact with every day has slowly been optimized, not purely for the user's benefit, but for the advertiser's benefit as well. There is another problem, one more subtle but equally frustrating. Google gives you links. It does not give you answers. When you want to know how a medication interacts with another, or how to structure a business contract, or what the current scientific consensus is on a topic, Google sends you to a website. You have to read it, evaluate it, cross-reference it, and synthesize the answer yourself. That was fine when there was no alternative, but now there is. Perplexity AI was founded in 2022 by Aravind Srinivas, a researcher who had worked at OpenAI, Google, and DeepMind. The premise behind the company was both simple and radical. What if a search engine actually answered your question instead of just pointing you toward websites? The tool launched quietly, but word spread quickly among a particular kind of user: researchers, writers, analysts, professionals, people who needed real answers, fast. At its core, Perplexity is what is called a conversational search engine. When you type a question, it does not return a list of links. It reads across dozens of live sources in real time, synthesizes the information it finds, and writes you a clear, sourced answer in natural language. Think of it less like a library catalog and more like a research assistant who can read everything and report back to you in plain English within seconds. You can ask it follow-up questions. You can push back on its answers. You can ask it to go deeper on a specific point or approach a topic from a different angle. It remembers the context of your conversation and builds on it. Perplexity supports multiple AI models under the hood. On its free tier, it uses a version of GPT. On its Pro tier, users can switch between Claude, GPT-4, and Perplexity's own model. This gives it a flexibility that no traditional search engine can match. It also cites every claim it makes, with clickable links so you can always verify where the information came from. That transparency is not a small detail. In a world drowning in misinformation, knowing exactly where a fact was sourced is genuinely important. Let us put both tools to the test in practical terms. When it comes to speed for simple factual questions, Google still has an edge. If you want to know the capital of a country, the population of a city, the birth year of a historical figure, or the score of last night's game, Google delivers that information almost instantly, often right at the top of the page without requiring a click. Perplexity is fast too, but it takes a few extra seconds because it is actually retrieving and processing live information before writing a response. 4 quick single-fact lookups. That difference matters. However, the moment your question becomes even slightly more complex, the moment you need more than one fact, or you need those facts to be connected and explained, the balance shifts dramatically toward Perplexity. Ask Google, what are the pros and cons of intermittent fasting for someone with type 2 diabetes? And you will get a list of links to medical websites, health blogs, and possibly some ads for diet supplements. Useful, but you still have a lot of reading to do. Ask Perplexity the same question and it will synthesize the current medical literature, explain the benefits, explain the risks, note any areas where research is still inconclusive, and cite the specific sources it used, all in a single, coherent response. For the modern information seeker, that difference is significant. This is where Perplexity genuinely shines. Whether you are a student writing a paper, a journalist fact-checking a story, a professional preparing for a meeting, or simply a curious person who wants to understand something deeply, Perplexity's ability to synthesize complex, multi-source research in real time is a capability that Google's current architecture simply cannot match. Google indexes the web, Perplexity reads it. That distinction sounds small, but in practice it is enormous. When asked to explain the geopolitical implications of a recent event, or compare the effectiveness of 2 different clinical trials, or summarize the key debates in a philosophical argument, Perplexity produces responses that read like something a thoughtful human expert might write, because in a meaningful sense, they are derived from what thoughtful human experts have already written. Google, meanwhile, points you toward those experts and trusts you to do the synthesis yourself. For casual searches, Google's model is still efficient. But for deep research, Perplexity has introduced a fundamentally different, and in many cases, superior, experience. Now we come to the most important question of all. Which one can you trust? Google's core advantage here is that it does not create information, it retrieves it. The pages it links to were written by humans, reviewed by editors, and ranked by an algorithm that has been refined over decades. When Google's top result says something, there is a meaningful chance it represents the authoritative source on that topic. Perplexity generates its answers using artificial intelligence, and AI, as powerful as it is, can sometimes be confidently wrong. This phenomenon, known as hallucination, is one of the defining challenges of large language models. Even when Perplexity cites sources, the summary it constructs can occasionally misrepresent nuances, omit important caveats, or overstate a conclusion. This is a real limitation and one that users should take seriously, particularly when the stakes are high: medical decisions, legal questions, financial planning. That said, Perplexity's citation system, which shows exactly which sentence came from which source, makes it far more transparent than many alternatives. You can check the work, you can trace the reasoning. The honest answer is that neither tool is infallible. Google can surface misinformation from authoritative-looking but unreliable websites. Perplexity can synthesize that same misinformation more convincingly. Critical thinking remains essential regardless of which tool you use. Beyond the technical comparison, there is something important about how these tools feel to use. Google is familiar and comfortable. After years of use, most people navigate it without thinking. The interface is minimal, the results are predictable, and there is a kind of quiet efficiency to the experience when it works well. Perplexity feels different. It feels like a conversation. There is a quality to the interaction that is the feeling of being understood. When you type a question into Perplexity, you are not throwing a keyword into a machine. You are asking something, and something asks you back. Do you want to know more? For many users, that shift in dynamic changes how they relate to the process of searching altogether. They ask harder questions and follow curiosity further. There is also the matter of distraction. Google's results page has become genuinely busy: ads, panels, carousels, and promoted content fighting for your attention. Perplexity's interface is comparatively clean. You ask, it answers. The experience is focused in a way that Google, under the pressure of its advertising model, has found difficult to maintain. Google still dominates by every measurable metric. It handles more than 90% of global search traffic. It has billions of users and an infrastructure that has been built and refined over a quarter century. But the numbers around Perplexity are moving in a way that the industry cannot ignore. Within 2 years of launch, Perplexity had grown to tens of millions of monthly active users. Its valuation crossed $1 billion, then $3 billion, then higher. Major investors, including some of the most prominent names in technology, have bet significant capital on its continued growth. The profile of Perplexity's users is also remarkable: highly educated, highly engaged, and highly vocal. Researchers, scientists, lawyers, and executives are among its most devoted advocates. Google has taken notice. It launched its own AI-powered search feature called AI Overviews, integrating generative AI directly into search results. It is a significant concession. After 2 decades of near-total confidence in the link-based model, the world's most powerful search engine is acknowledging that the AI answer format has a real place at the table. We are living through one of those rare moments when a technology that seemed fixed, settled, finished, mature, suddenly becomes fluid again. Search has been the same fundamental experience for 25 years. Type words, get links. That paradigm taught an entire generation to skim, to bounce between tabs, and to triangulate answers from multiple imperfect sources. AI search is proposing something different: synthesis over navigation, understanding over accumulation. The experience of arriving at knowledge rather than arriving at a map that might lead you there. That is an exciting proposition, but it also raises questions that we are only beginning to ask. If AI answers our questions directly, what happens to the websites, the journalists, and the writers whose work feeds those answers? If we stop clicking through to original sources, do we weaken the ecosystem that produces original thinking in the first place? These questions will define the next chapter of how knowledge flows through civilization. The tools we use shape what information we trust and, ultimately, how we understand the world. So, Perplexity AI or Google Search? The honest answer is, it depends on what you are trying to do. Google remains the fastest, most reliable tool for quick lookups, current events, local searches, maps, and any situation where you need a direct link to a specific website. Its scale and decades of refinement make it irreplaceable for everyday tasks. Perplexity, on the other hand, is the tool you want when you are genuinely trying to understand something. When you have a hard question. When you want synthesis, not just sources. When you want to think alongside a tool rather than simply retrieve from one. The most powerful approach for now is to use both, thoughtfully and deliberately. The age of passive search is ending. The age of intelligent dialogue with information has begun. If this video helped you see these tools in a new light, consider sharing it. Subscribe to keep exploring the technologies reshaping the world. And leave a comment, because the best conversations about the future of search are the ones we have together.